attempt to follow him. You say, but you Muslims are with Muhammad. Yeah, we with Muhammad. But if you really understand Muhammad, you really understand Jesus better. Now, I don't have time to get into the deeper theological significance of all of that, because my work tonight is just to get us to see the value of the land that you're sitting on, called Prairie View. Now, our mayor, he gave me an education this morning because he knows this history backward and forward of what has happened to this area, how it's produced, its weaknesses and its strength. And I listened to him carefully this morning, and I'd like to share this with you and then open up for questions. Brothers and sisters, President Obama is not going to produce jobs for you. Can you wrap your mind around that reality? He's going to try, and he'll get high marks for trying, but you can't eat a try. Can I get a witness? Now, let's put Mr. Obama aside for a moment. What is our responsibility? Elijah Muhammad, I want you to listen to something that Elijah Muhammad said concerning us and why we must not rely on politicians to create a future for us. We have some very good politicians here. I like our sister, Sheila Jackson Lee. I like her. I like the judge, Al Green, Congressman Green. These are good people in a rotten system. Even good organs in a body that is metastasizing with cancer, even the good go bad when they can't produce what we elected them to bring us. The system is rotten. It's rotten. And when you get in it, you're going to have to understand why you have to constantly wash your politicians. When I say wash them, you know, Jesus always told the folk that came, go and wash in the pool of Siloam, you know. When you come out of these crooked houses where deals are made that cut the poor out, you always got to stay with your politicians. Don't elect them and turn your back thinking that everything is going to come back to you. You got to stay with them and stay on them to keep them clean. And at that, you're going to have a hard time. So the person that you're going to have to rely on is who? Who? Let's see then. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, as long as we are consumers and employees, our future is in the hand of somebody else. But if we are going to be producers, you cannot become a producer of what you need to extend your life without land. Land is the basis of all wars. They don't fight just to fight. They fight for access to land and the raw materials that are under that land or in that land. And the more access they have to land where there's oil, where there's gold, where there's uranium, where there are raw materials, and they know how to bring those raw materials out of the earth and make a product and put that product on the market to bring back revenue. That's how nations grow. You're too big now to be looking for somebody else to do these things for you. We've got to now do it for ourselves. But land is the basis. Now here you have, right here, our mayor told me, on 1,500 acres, and about 500 of it is used for the school, and there's 1,000 more, and 700 of that is used for farming and animal husbandry. We have hybrid cows and we have goats, and we wonder, you know, well, that's nice, you know, we have goat milk and that's nice, but our cows don't produce milk. They're beef cattle, and most of us are getting away from beef, you know. But now look at what can come from this land. Did you know, how many of you are aware of this book, Quran? How many of you are aware of it? It's a companion of the Bible. As a student of Elijah Muhammad, I study the Bible and I study the Quran. I study the Torah, I study the Injil, I study the Quran. Why? Because truth hugs and kisses truth. Truth doesn't fight truth. If the Bible is telling the truth, then the Quran will verify it. Now look at this. When we open the Quran, the first chapter of this book is called what? No. The first chapter is Al-Fatiha. Right? It's a prayer. 7 verses, right? But the second chapter is called the cow. Now I asked myself, I read this chapter many times, and then I asked myself, well, Allah, why did you name this chapter the cow? What is so important about the cow that after you introduce yourself to us, you name a chapter after a cow? The Quran calls God the Beneficent, and He gives to us these animals to bear our burden, from the cattle, from between the dung and the blood, a drink agreeable to the drinkers. You have clothing in it, and there are actually 10 industries that can come just from a cow. Now, if you want a job, we have to now start manufacturing in order to create jobs. You see what the government has done? They put manufacturing outside America into third world countries for cheap labor, and all the things that were made in America are no longer made in America anymore. When I was a young man, when we went to the store, in the back of the jacket, it said what? Made in America. You go and buy a dress, made in America. You buy a pillowcase, a sheet, a pair of jeans made in America. In Massachusetts, there was a little town called Taunton, Massachusetts. It was the shoe capital of the world. We made the shoes that we wore. Your underwear made in America. Everything, well, I guess you into hair now, and I'm not, hope I'm not hurting anybody's feelings, but the Koreans got that locked down. They said these black folk love hair, and I'm gonna give them hair, and they get it in India. Everybody over there got long hair. They make sure they pay them a little money, cut it off and fix it, and send it over here to us. And you know, good hair costs money. And some of you, I couldn't believe this. I really couldn't believe it. Paying $500, $600, $800, $1,000 for hair. Am I lying? No, sir. Now, sisters, you look pretty. I mean, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad told us that's nothing wrong because you once had hair like that. He said, look at the hair on your eyebrows and the quality of the hair on your head. It's a big difference. Your hair used to be exactly what you're buying. It'll come back. But I mean, to spend that kind of money, bless your heart. Well, anyway, let's get back to the land. Now look at this. From a cow, you get food products. Do you know that from every part of the cow, you get cosmetics, you get pharmaceuticals, you get clothing, you get a grocery and supermarket industry, you get biofuel, dairy industry. You have to have harvesting equipment in order to work the fields just from having a cow. And you got how many cows over here? About 700 of them? And we got to put them fellas to work. Now look, the cow gave its hide to white folk. They not racist. That's right. The cow don't have a problem with you. It'll give you its hide. Take it and start making shoes. Styling, please. No, not these stilettos. Oh,